What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is a very educational video, so I'm down on my second account here with Spirit Empress, and the main reason I'm playing on Spirit Empress is because she is very easy to build up Elixir and get your team built out, and just gonna make this video easier. But today I want to teach you guys about the troop pool and really explain the troop pool in full detail. I'm going to show you guys how you can get 4 stars, how you can consistently get your team to max level, how you can block your opponents from getting 3 stars, which is very important. So a lot of specific skills and different tricks are all focused around the troop pool and understanding how it works. So this is a very, very important video if you do not understand how the troop pool works. So at its very simplest form, the troop pool is a big pool of all of the troops in the game, and we know that there are 26 troops in the game right now. And when you're buying cards in your shop, every card that pops up in your shop is pulled from the troop pool. Now, there are four copies of each card in the troop pool. So 26 times 4 is 104, and that's how many cards are in the troop pool. What that means is that for every... I keep hitting my desk. I don't know why I'm doing that. That means that for every card... I need to merge. That means that for every card, there is a possibility of you getting... Ooh. Actually, I'm just going to do this. This is show. Yeah. That means for every card, there is only a chance to get 1 3-star and no other cards. So if you're going for a 3-star on, say, the Executioner here, and you know there are only 4 in the pool, you know that you need to get all the Executioners from the pool in order to level up your card to get the 3 stars. Now, by spectating, you can see that this guy over here has an Executioner. So I know that I'm not going to be able to get a 3-star Executioner in this game. Now, there are modifiers that can give you more cards than what is in the pool. Things like promotion. Promote a smaller card to a cheaper card to a more expensive card. That adds that card into the game, and it was not pulled from the pool. Another one is an Echo Bench, which just gives you a copy of the card that you leave in that slot every single time. Another one is, you know, the first one free. They're not, sorry, that was last season's modifier. The Your Mind modifier, which gives you a free card for defeating, or whichever of the enemy's units you defeat first, they give you a free one of those cards. And those are all modifiers that put more cards into your hand and onto your board and into your bench that you did not buy from the shop and that were not pulled from the pool. Another thing to notice is starting cards. The cards you start with, which in most modifiers are 2 elixir cards, those are not pulled from the pool. So you may notice that you have a 3-star wizard, but then you go spectate one of your opponents and you see that he also has a 3-star wizard, and you're like, what in the world? I didn't think that could happen because I have all the wizards from the pool. Well, that's not actually the case, because if he started with a wizard, sorry, I take that back. That is the case, that you took them all from the pool. But if he started with a wizard, he is going to be able to keep that card on the board, and as long as he doesn't sell it, it will continue to be on the board for him, and he can play the entire game with that wizard if he wants to, or leave it in his bench. Which leads into the next point, and that is the fact that if you sell a card, it actually re-enters the pool. So if I were to sell this 3-star Goblin Machine that I'm about to get, somebody else would be able to go into the pool and buy all 3 of those Goblin Machines, because they're all going to re-enter the pool. But because I'm buying the last Goblin Machine from the pool, that means that nobody else can go into the pool and buy a Goblin Machine. An exception to specifically the Goblin cards, is the Goblin Queen Ruler. With the Goblin Queen Ruler, you can actually generate your goblins from defeating units on the map. The Goblin modifier also works in the same way by keeping goblins on the board. If you have 2 goblins on the board, you will get a free 2 or 3 elixir goblin, which is Dark Goblin, Stab Goblin, and Spear Goblin. If you have 4 goblins on the board, you will gain a free 3 or 4 elixir goblin, which is specifically only Dark Goblin or Goblin Machine. So you can see that there are honestly a lot of ways to generate more cards than what you can buy in the shop. So Goblin modifier, Goblin Queen, the Goblin trait, the Goblin Queen Ruler, and specific modifiers in the game. Now, if we are of the perspective, say nobody's playing Goblin Queen, and nobody has, and it's a modifier that doesn't affect the number of cards that you can put into the game. You can completely block somebody else from getting any cards if you have a 3-star. So because I have this 3-star baby dragon, and I know the modifier doesn't give out any free troops, I know nobody else is going to be able to go for a 3-star. So if I come over here and look at Han Solo here, you can see he's going for some ace troops. I don't want him to get a 3-star Mega Knight or a 3-star Bandit. So what I'm going to do is called blocking, and it's honestly way too late in the game for that because I've already beat him. But the fact that I can go into the pool and I can buy this Mega Knight here, and I don't know if he has, he obviously doesn't have any troops on his bench, so I know he doesn't have another Mega Knight. But by buying this Mega Knight, I was able to block him from getting a 3-star Mega Knight. Blocking is a very, very, very important skill, specifically when you're playing Spirit Empress, because when you get to the end of the game, you have a lot of elixir left after you've kind of maxed out your team, and you're able to use that elixir to block your opponent. So blocking is a very important skill that you need to learn, and that focuses around the troop pool. It's important to do it later on in the game. You don't want to be blocking somebody. I mean, say somebody gets a Golden Knight in the first hand, you're like, oh, I don't want to be a 3-star Golden Knight, I better buy a Golden Knight now. No, in round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 even, you don't have enough elixir to start blocking. But if you get into the later game, and either it's a 1v1 or there's a few other people left and you have a lot of your team built up, then you need to be aware, okay, what teams are they running and what units on those teams can I block to keep them from getting the 3-star. Blocking is a very, very important, strategy to know. Now with Goblin Queen, you don't really block. You can use your elixir to, I guess you can. Blocking is universal. It's just easier on Spirit Empress, and it's way more important on Spirit Empress. But you cannot block goblins, specifically when you're playing against Goblin Queen, because with her ability, she has the possibility to generate a free goblin machine every time she kills a troop. I mean, that's just how crazy it can get. So you are not going to be able to block goblins, which is why most of these strategies apply to Empress players. With Lung and King, but nobody really plays King, there is a... actually, I might as well just go for the same team, right? Let's do this. I'm trying to play and yap, and it's kind of working, but I should honestly lock in at some point. Okay, nice. Nice knights. Okay, so with Spirit Empress, it's going to be the most important to learn those things like blocking, because that's where you have your advantage by being able to generate elixir. With Lung, it's all about getting cards on the board, and with Goblin Queen, it's about, you know, getting your goblin synergy so that you can build up goblins. Goblin Queen basically means the pool. The pool is a joke to Goblin Queen, because she's able to generate cards for the entire game, and in a 1v1, she's able to keep getting higher star cards where her opponents are not, and that's what makes her so good. Another feature of the troop pool that I wanted to talk about is an empty shop, and to be honest, I may have encountered an empty shop maybe once the entire past 2 seasons, and the main reason being that we have more cards in the shop. But if you guys played during season 1, you guys will know you probably encountered a spot where all of the spots in your bench or in your shop were empty, and you couldn't buy any cards. That reason is that all of the cards that are in the pool were either on the board, sitting in somebody's bench, or sitting in somebody else's shop. And sometimes, you know, in the way that the cycle goes and the way that the computer generates the shop, if 2 people are cycling at once, it's going to like trick the system and believe that there are no cards because it's filling both shops simultaneously. And so it can happen sometimes before technically all the cards are out of the pool. But that was something that we experienced a lot at the beginning of the first season, at the beginning of Merge Tactics as a game. That really doesn't happen anymore, but it still can. If you get into a game where it goes on very, very long, you're playing with a lot of Empress players, and almost all the cards are out of the pool, it can still happen where you get an empty shop and you can't buy any units. I'm trying to find those last goblin machines so I can just sit back and let the game go and just yap, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. But the big question that a lot of you who probably clicked on this video are wondering, and that, you know, is what makes the game fun, is how do you get 4-star cards? And there are several ways to do that. The easiest and most consistent, if you want to get 4-star cards, then just go play Goblin Queen. That's by far the easiest way to get 4 stars. She automatically generates the cards, and you can easily get 4 stars on definitely the stab and the spear and the dart goblin, and definitely on goblin machines if you run it in conjunction with the 4 out of 4 goblin synergy. And that's another consistent way to get 4 stars, is run the goblin synergy. Here I'm just running 2 out of 2, and so there's a chance I could get a 4-star spear, or spear goblin, not a super high one, but if I were to run them from the beginning, and especially run the 4 out of 4 and intentionally keep all these little spear goblins, there's a very high chance that I can get a 4-star spear goblin. Those are the easiest ways. 4-star goblins are by far the most popular, or the most common 4-star troops in the game. Let's actually try to block this guy, put our strategy into effect here. We see he has a 2-star barbarian, a 2-star archer, and a 2-star P.E.K.K.A. So we already have the archer, so we're blocking him there. We're going to try to find a barbarian and a P.E.K.K.A. because then we can... Oh, we have a P.E.K.K.A. as well. I'm just inherently blocking this guy and I didn't even know it. There's a barbarian. So we're blocking him on the final 3 cards. Obviously, we're inherently blocking him because we have the other 2 goblin machines on our board there. But yeah, 4 stars are going to come from goblins the easiest, through the Goblin Queen synergy and through the goblin trait. Now, the only other way to get 4 stars is through specific modifiers. And there are several modifiers that allow you to do that, and I'm actually going to go and show you those modifiers right now. The one that made it the easiest was one that was actually called the 4 stars modifier, which unfortunately isn't in the game anymore. It was a Season 1 modifier, and they removed it from the game. I think I have to open these real quick. But there are several modifiers that can give you 4 stars, and I'm going to show you, well, explain to you exactly how to get 4 stars through each one. So, your mind, this one's rare. It's rare that you're going to be able to kill the same unit enough times, because you got to remember, if you buy all the cards from the shop, that's only 4. You still have to get 4 more copies of the card to get a 4-star. So your mind can sometimes do it if you play against a lot of people who have, like, if you play against a few people who are already knocked out of the game, who still have, like, knights on their front line, and you've bought all the rest from the shop. Well, that's another thing I need to talk about after I'm done talking about modifiers, is how cards can enter back. But the biggest one is Echo Bench, because it generates a 1-star copy of the troop in your rightmost slot. If you keep a card in there for multiple rounds, 4 rounds, it will give you 4 extra cards, which, if you've bought all the cards out of the shop, will give you a 4-star. That is the easiest way to do it. Promotion is another way. Each round, a troop in your rightmost bench slot transforms into a random troop that costs 1 elixir. A big tip for this one is that if you put a 2 or 3-star card in that slot, it will promote it to a 2 or 3-star card of a more expensive, of 1 elixir more expensive of those cards. So if you have a 3-star goblin machine, and you really want a 4-star goblin machine, and you notice nobody has any P.E.K.K.A.s, so you go to the shop and you get a 3-star P.E.K.K.A. and you put that 3-star P.E.K.K.A. on the promotion slot, it will promote that up into a 3-star 4 elixir card, which has a chance at being goblin machine, and then you can get a 4-star goblin machine and kind of catch people really off guard because they weren't expecting you to be able to do that. You can also do this with 5 elixir cards and transform them into other 5 elixir cards. So you can't promote a 5 elixir card into a 6 elixir card that doesn't exist. It just changes it into one of the 2 others. So say you get a 5 or a 3-star Skeleton King, and you get either a 3-star Golden Knight or a 3-star Archer Queen. If you put it on that slot, well, it's a 50-50. So if you have a 3-star Skeleton King and you get a 3-star Golden Knight and you put it on the promotion slot, it's not going to change it into itself. So you have a 50% chance to change it into the Skeleton King and a 50% chance to change it into the Archer Queen. That means promotion is really, really good for Spirit Empress players who have a lot of elixir, who can get a 3-star champion and then get another 3-star champion, allows them to get a 4-star champion. Very, very easy. Or it's a bit easier to get 4 stars that way than if you're playing any other ruler. Clear Mind does not give you any other cards, nor does any of these. Ascension cannot, because if you promote a card, if you ascend a card into a 3-star, you're only using 1 copy to create a 3-star, but you're still using one of the copies from the pool. Now, if you ascend your starting card into a 3-star, there is still a chance for you to get a 4-star because you can buy the rest of them out of the pool. Remember what I said? Your starting cards do not count as cards that came from the pool. So if you start with an Archer, you promote your Archer to a 3-star, and you buy the 4 copies of Archer from the pool, you can get a 4-star Archer. That is possible. And then the Mystery Shop does not give you any extra cards, nor does Devil Snap. So This season only has a few modifiers that can give you 4 stars. Anybody who played last season remembers the Chaos modifier. That was by far the easiest to get 4 stars. Unfortunately, that's not in the game. It was a very buggy modifier. But the last thing I want to talk about is the dead people that, you know, if you watch me for any time at all, you've heard me say that. And it's when a unit, or when an opposing player gets knocked out of the game. You're probably wondering, well, what happens to their cards? Well, all of their cards enter back into the pool. I should take that back. All of their purchased cards enter back into the pool. So if somebody bought 3 barbarians and they have a 2-star on the board and a 1-star on the bench, when they lose the game and get knocked out of contention, those 3 barbarians will actually enter back into the pool. Things that will not enter into the pool are cards that they generated through modifiers or through traits, or their starting cards. So if they started with a barbarian and they bought 2 more from the shop, so they still had, you know, let's do this actually, and they still had they had two barbarians on the board and 1 on their hand and 1 in their bench, but they started with 1. Then when they die, only 2 barbarians will enter the shop. Same thing with goblins that are created by either Goblin Queen or the Goblin trait. If they have a 4-star Goblin Machine and they lose, only the amount of Goblin Machines that they bought from the shop will re-enter the pool. So if one of these Goblin Queen players, he has a Dark Goblin there, but say he got one of them for free from beating a unit, and he has a 3-star and he dies, well, only 3 of the 4 that made up that Dark Goblin will actually re-enter the pool. We got to start cycling. Get some stuff down here to actually give me a chance to win. Okay, this is something. And then, yeah, same thing for modifiers. So if somebody gets a 4-star queen with Echo Bench and they sell it and they bought 3 queens from the shop, only 3 more queens will enter the pool. Something that you should note, though, is that this guy lost. And as soon as he lost, even though we're still in the game phase, the very second he loses, his cards will re-enter the pool. So you don't have to wait to the buy phase. You don't have to wait until the buy phase to be able to buy the cards that enter the pool. You can do that directly after they lose, which is a really cool feature. I am going to run a unique comp here. We don't need to have the knight because we have the extra stuff going on here. Baby Dragon, I guess. And we don't need the Valkyrie either. Actually, yeah, I don't know why I left the Valkyrie out there. I definitely should not have. We're going to take the Valkyrie off, utilize this being the second Juggernaut, and provide the shields, and then we're going to go ahead and buy the Wizard. So a team that I love to play with Lung, we're actually going to be able to play here because we can use the trait dummy as the Knight because it has the 2 traits that a Knight does, and then just buy the Wizard from the shop and put him in. So that's going to be fun. Just sell this, put this here, buy you, put that there. Take this, get the Wizard here. Okay, and then just start cycling cards and try to get our 3 stars here. Nice, that's good. Wizard. And Baby Dragon, so we'll just let the Baby Dragon go, and we'll just pick that up next round. Not going to try to block yet, because I still want to focus on getting my cards to as high as I possibly can, and I'll spectate this guy, so I know that this guy has a Musketeer, so I won't be able to get a 3-star Musketeer, because he has one of them from the pool. This Goblin Queen over here, he does have 2 Goblin Machines. I'm assuming that he bought at least one of them from the shop. And so I'm not going to focus too hard on getting a 3-star Goblin Machine. In fact, I may even sell the one that I have on my bench to generate enough elixir. Because I didn't see a Wizard, an Executioner, or a Baby Dragon on either of these guys' teams. And actually no Spear Goblins either. So, oh, there's a Wizard. He did buy a Wizard. So I'm actually just going to sell the Wizard. Sell the Goblin Machine. Because I don't need them. And then use that elixir to try and cycle like for that and get a 3-star of that. And I actually bought almost all those from the shop. Okay, there's a Goblin Machine again, so let's hold on to it now. I'll actually do this here. Wizard. This is chill, we'll be fine. I think we have enough to win. So those are, I think, everything I wanted to cover about the True Pool. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments. I'll try to be very active in the comments on this video. I want it to be educational, making sure you guys are learning exactly how it works, because I'm sure with the last few seasons there have been a lot of new people who have joined the game, and I haven't made a True Pool video since like very early on in season 1, which was several months ago now. So hopefully you learned a lot from this video, learned how things work, and specifically how you can get 4 stars. There are several ways, not as many as there once were, because they took out a lot of those like the Chaos was such a fun modifier. Unfortunately, they removed it from the game, but there's still ways to get 4 stars, and if you just want to play and get 4 stars, then play Goblin Queen. I've made several videos on how to get 4 stars with Goblin Queen. Make sure you go back and watch those. But it's a fun game. It's a fun game to be able to get, you know, overpowered cards, and that's what it's all about. I mean, yeah, there are people who push top ladder, but it's fun to try out new cards. It's fun to get very powerful cards, and understanding the true pool will allow you to do that. So just to recap, a reminder that every single card has 4 copies in the pool. When you buy a copy, you are pulling it out of the pool. There are other ways to generate cards, including the Goblin trait, the Goblin Queen ruler, and modifiers. When somebody dies or sells a card, that card will re-enter the pool and you can once again purchase it. So hopefully this video was very educational. If you have any comments, questions, make sure you leave them below. If you enjoyed the video, if it helped you out, please drop a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. I'll probably make a lot more educational videos like this. I feel like it's kind of fun to just be able to explain things about the game that a lot of people may not understand. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I will see you in the next one.